Hey guys, this video is about the Australian Yellow Vest movement, which is a political activist movement that claims it's against corruption, particularly big business influencing politicians. Now that certainly happens, and I guess according to their worldview, we live in very dark times, but rest assured people that it's always darkest before dawn. This video is a criticism of the Yellow Vest movement, and don't get too upset or have your feelings too hurt, because all these criticisms are things I wish I heard before I became a street activist, which I was for 4 years. If you feel like I'm saying anyone is an idiot, don't worry, I was like Idiot of the Year 4 times in a row. I am one of Australia's leading fuckwits. A few things I wanted to talk about were cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are the way that your brain will make cognitive errors in processing information. Like, your brain is inherently flawed in the way that it filters out reality, and cognitive biases are the ways that psychologists and neuroscientists have documented the way that we're inherently dumb. The first cognitive bias I wanted to talk about is called the Kruger effect. So the Kruger effect is basically, you don't know how much you don't know about something if you've never been exposed to a field. A classic example of someone under the Kruger effect are those really bad, cringeworthy, embarrassing, like, talent show auditions where someone comes in and they start singing like really badly, and they're unaware of how bad of a singer they are. They're like, I believe I can fly.
She bangs. Oh baby, when she moves, she moves. I go crazy cause she looks like a fly, but she stings like a bee, like every girl in history. She bangs, I'm wasted by the way
Thank you.
So basically that pertains to other fields. The Dunning-Kruger effect, I think, is something that a lot of activists are under the impression of, because they don't realize how complex society is and how nuanced it is. So, for example, I was like that bad American Idol auditioner when I was like out there on the street going, we must stop corruption and bad things are bad. I'm against bad. We need more good.
My property alone. You know, globalisation.
Yeah, I'm against.
Where's my stuff?
I'm against capitalism too,
You just
mate.
stole my flag.
She bangs. Oh baby, when she moves, she moves. I go crazy cause she looks like a fly, but she stings like a bee.
One thing I think is very suspicious about street activists is you don't need any qualifications to put on a yellow vest and then rail against bad things. Like, to be a doctor, to advise people on medical issues, you need to go through years of training. It's really hard. A lot of people don't finish their training because it's too hard. Or to become a plumber is like years of training. Or, you know, even learning how to drive a car takes a long time. But in order to go out there and crusade against bad things, you don't need any training or qualifications. So you might end up doing more damage than good in your naive attempt to fix society. For example, what do you think's more complicated, an aeroplane, flying an aeroplane, or governing an entire society with millions of people and millions of complicated institutions like laws, courts, healthcare, education, militaries, all these really complicated things that require years and years of study to even begin to grasp their complexity and the way they interlink and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, you don't magically become qualified to understand that situation by putting on a yellow vest. To fly an aeroplane would be more simple than governing a society. Now imagine you're on an aeroplane and I put on a yellow vest and I just say, this aeroplane's corrupt. I've seen the evidence, it's corrupt. It's too expensive. There's a first class. Why is there a first class on this plane? That's discrimination. And then I just charge through, I push over the air stewardess because she's part of the system, man. And I go into the cockpit. And then I slam the door and you're like sitting there going, what? You hear a scuffle over the intercom. And then you just hear my voice over the intercom going, ladies and gentlemen, I have ended the corruption on the aeroplane.
I'm pretty sure I know how to fly this plane. I can't see what you're doing right now, but I imagine that you're giving me a standing ovation. And you don't need to thank me. Being morally better than everyone and helping everyone out is thanks enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently descending at a rapid pace. You will notice that we are in a nosedive towards Utopia. We will be arriving in Utopia in about 2 minutes. You're welcome.
Right? So you wouldn't trust me to fly an aeroplane. Why would you trust me to make political decisions on your behalf? You wouldn't. You fucking wouldn't.
Bangs! She bangs! Oh baby, when she moves, I go crazy cause she looks like a fly, but she stings like a bee. Like every girl in history. She bangs! I'm wasted by the way
Thank
she
you.
bangs.
Guys, I'm doing a stand-up comedy show called The Cognitive Dissident, all about cognitive biases and why I ended up such a delusional, crazy fuckwit. The tour dates are in a link in the description to this video if you're interested.